Here at Upton in Bloom, we strive to fulfil our mission of making Upton a cleaner, greener, more beautiful place in which to live, work and visit. So let's explore how we achieve this balance of impact, colourful planting for residents and visitors, with the need to create a sustainable, biodiverse environment for nature. So we're here today at Lytchett Bayview, which is a really important part of the town. So tell me about why this area is so special in regards to biodiversity. What is it you're trying to achieve?
So Lytchett Bayview, it's a lovely place. It's a designated local nature reserve. We sit adjacent to Poole Harbour SSSI, an internationally renowned Ramsar site there. So we play host to large numbers of both resident and migratory bird species. So we've just heard water rail calling in the reed beds there. We've seen our first swallows of the year just a couple of days previous. And really it's the sort of mixture of habitat we've got that plays such an important part to all of these. We've got this lovely scrub habitat here which a lot of birds will nest in. We've got the meadow habitat in the middle and then some woodland around the outside. We've got foreshore habitat and reed beds which things like reed warblers will nest in. In the news recently we've heard about the white-tailed eagle and osprey reintroductions. They've both been seen fishing in the bay just behind us here. We manage the site as naturally as possible. We don't use pesticides or herbicides, and things like fallen trees we use to create nesting stacks or habitat piles. And really it's just shown in the number of bird, mammal, plant species that we see all around us.
So as you'd expect from an in-bloom town, we have got the traditional flower beds in the centre of town. But are there any other opportunities throughout the town that you're looking to increase the habitat? Any future plans?
Yeah, I mean Upton itself is lucky in that we have a woodland contained within the town itself. We border Upton Heath as well, which is host to all the 6 native reptile species in the UK. We manage a little site called Meadow Garden, which last year we decided to see what would happen if we only cut half the grass. And already we've seen new species coming up, such as red and white clover, bird's foot trefoil, and various hawkbit species, and obviously the pollinators will follow that. Going forward this year, we've got an unused piece of land in which we're going to use to create a bog garden habitat and put some shade-tolerant species in there because it's bordered by trees. Adjacent to that, we're going to put in another clover meadow, which is important nitrogen-fixing species and obviously friendly for pollinators. And in another little area of the town, create a new wildflower garden.
So how do you know what's working, what possibly needs to be changed, if there are any concerning trends happening? Do you do any kind of reporting or any kind of assessment?
We do. So Meadow Garden, which I just mentioned, we've already done a visual inspections of those. We're seeing different species of flowers come up and the insects that come after that. Here at Lytchett Bayview, we're lucky enough to work as part of a partnership with quite a large number of other organisations such as RSPB, Birds of Poole Harbour, neighbouring councils, Amphibian and Reptile Conservation and Dorset Wildlife Trust. And people within those organisations and volunteers conduct surveys to see whether the number of species is increasing or decreasing. So in terms of plant surveys, there was large surveys done in 2009 and 2023 which were compared and contrasted, which has found the number of species here is generally increasing. Some have decreased as nature changes, as it does. We've got species such as southern marsh and bee orchids that have been recorded here, which are Dorset notable species. And the bird surveys are conducted ongoing throughout the year. Last year there were a total of 149 species recorded just here at Lytchett Bayview.
So I can see that supporting nature, so the planting, the insects, the birds and the butterflies in an area like Lytchett Bayview is really important. But I'm just wondering, are there any other opportunities throughout the town to incorporate nature and habitats in the activities that you do?
Yes, what we're trying to do throughout the whole town is a move away from the sort of more traditional bedding plant displays that have been seen over previous years. Number of reasons why. It's quite expensive to implement, and some of the plant species that have been used we found being affected by things like climate change. As the winters get wetter and colder, they don't tend to like it as much. So we're moving towards increasing numbers of perennial plants that will come back year on year and that are more tolerant of the weather conditions. For instance, this year we're planting native primrose species, which will come back early. Obviously they're native, so they're used to the weather conditions we're getting. We've got Brunnera and Pulmonaria that we've planted that are already in bloom, so they attract pollinators, provide an early food source. And then moving through into towards summer, we've got lavender and native herb species that will be planted, again quite hardy, providing a long flowering season for pollinators and quite visually attractive as well. And mixing that in with a number of different things such as canna lilies and penstemons, which provide good visual aspect for people as they look through. So just trying to combine a mixture of wildlife friendly and people friendly planting in an urban environment, and generally hoping to make Upton a cleaner, greener, more beautiful place to live, work and visit.